Adam Day, you were paid shed loads of money when Connells bought Hatched, and then you, for some strange reason, you went to EasyProperty. Why was that?
Good question. So basically, the plan for Hatched when we were acquired by Connells was to stay on for a period of time, have a successor, and have a succession plan in place, and that had been done by June 2017 or whatever it was. So my time at Hatched ended.
Was that a good transition? Were Connells good to you when they brought Hatched in? Because they are a good firm. I'll give you that.
Yeah, great. I mean, brilliant. I mean, I learned so much from Connells, and from the exec board there. I sat at the senior execs meetings and the quarterly meeting and the meetings about board meetings about Hatched and stuff, and learned a huge amount of how to operate at a more corporate level.
But what made you move? Because you could have sat there at your big ivory towers in Leighton Buzzard and run the show there, couldn't you? Were you a bit bored?
I probably achieved everything I wanted to achieve.
Yes.
I think back in 2006, I had a big vision of being acquired by corporate. That was the goal. That was the big fat hairy goal, as they called it. And I'd achieved that, and so really, I didn't have much else.
Why
to do.
do you think they bought you?
Good question.
Hedging their bets, do you think?
I think they were intrigued about the online model and how it worked, and because obviously Purplebricks were growing market share. Not affecting Connells, I don't think, by the way. I think Connells have reported every year growth. So I don't think Purplebricks have been eating their lunch. They've been eating countrywide.
Because they're a bit of a quiet giant, aren't they? They don't wave their flags a lot like others. They're quite a bit like LSL. Just get on the job and do it.
Yeah, and I found that really difficult because I was a bit of a gobby so-and-so. And so going into the bosom of Connells and understanding the way they worked, and it was very much, we're not bothered about what everyone else does. We're just going to get on and do our job really, really well.
Good.
And they did exactly that. I mean, they were geniuses at that sort of thing.
So would it be fair to say that probably you were just kind of sat at the table thinking, how old were you at this point?
38.
Yeah, so really, you've got another 30 years left in you.
I hope not.
Well, okay then, 25 years, 10 years even. I don't know. I'm talking working.
Yeah.
What made you jump across and go to the EasyProp? Because what year was that?
2017.
17. So they'd already done that stunt, hadn't they?
Yeah, they'd done that stunt. So EasyProperty is an interesting one. So I'd left Hatched and I was unemployed essentially. And then the news broke and John Cook phoned me up, and I've known John for 3 or 4 years. John was one of the first people to ever speak to me about Hatched. Just as a high street agent, how does it work? What do you do? What's different? He was very inquisitive.
Absolute top bloke. He made me redundant from...
did he?
And one of the best things he's ever done. It shook me up back in 2009.
Was it? Okay.
2009, 2010.
Yeah.
And I keep thanking him for it afterwards.
Yeah. John's the reason I joined EasyProperty.
Yes.
I got a lot of time for John. We used to talk a lot. And
he's an absolutely top bloke in the industry. And if you don't know him, honestly, guys, top man.
Yeah, no, he's brilliant. And he's worked at some really high-level places, and he's great at building relationships, and that was why I joined, because we first spoke in 2012 probably, and we shared a stage at my home move conference, and he defended high street agency, and I went for a high street agency based on online agency. So we've been friends, since back then. So I joined because of him, and because of the model. I felt that I could see the likes of Purplebricks and Yopa gaining traction, and I didn't agree with the model of charging everything up front.
Yes.
So I like the EasyProperty model of empowering traditional agents with the EasyProperty brand as the licensing. I got in there, and we had no problem selling the brand to businesses. A B2B business, everybody wanted to buy that license because of this big orange brand that everyone in the world heard of.
Had the EasyProperty and the Guild and the Fine and Country brands been sold out to that other firm at this point or not?
Yeah, the whole merger had been done.
That had been done.
That had all been done, yeah.
So you were selling, let's be frank with each other, you were selling to Guild members and Fine and Country.
So I got in and...
You were selling to a captive audience.
Yeah, we were selling to a captive audience, a captive audience that wanted tools to compete with online estate agents, which I completely agreed with. I bought
Yep.
into that completely. You know, the previous management team spent a huge amount of money on tech that probably, and I don't think John will mind me saying this, but the tech wasn't. It wasn't online estate agency. It wasn't what I'd created at Hatch.
Yes.
It wasn't what Purplebricks had. It wasn't what Yopa had, which was some really slick customer journeys. Understanding what tech to me has always been translating real life estate agency scenarios into an online journey. And when you make a mistake on that, you end up giving techies the job and saying, this is what we need you to do. And they build what they think that journey should be, rather than actually an estate agent, i.e. someone like me, building that tech into translating it to a techie's mind. So EasyProperty really struggled in terms of that side of things, I thought. The biggest issue, and this was something that we didn't realise until later on, was the brand, the consumer. Does the consumer want a big orange board in their front garden? I'm not sure they do. The brand is amazing. Don't get me wrong. The Easy brand is unbelievable. It's synonymous with, entrepreneurship but it's also synonymous with cheap fees. And as I've been saying in some of these videos, I don't think cheap fees are the answer. It's more to do with the systems, the processes, the automated communications, all that sort of stuff, rather than just being cheap. And easy is, does the consumer want that outside their front garden?
Would it be fair to say that, obviously you are pro online estate agents. I know you're not pro the way they charge, and we've discussed that in a previous video, so check that out, guys. But would it be fair to say that you are saying that high street agents should be given the opportunity to have an online string to their bow, but probably the branding was wrong?
Yeah, the brand. Yeah, I think
it could have been a different brand. Let's just say it could have been like Bob Smith as online estate agents. I've just made that up. A fighter brand. Did you? Let's be honest. Countrywide set up their own online agency, but they did it under their high street branding.
Yeah, so that was a mistake as well, because it just looks like a bolt-on to your current offering. And why would anyone use your high street offering when I can get the same for £995? So I think that model of being countrywide and countrywide online, or Adam Day and Adam Day online is wrong.
So you agree with the online model, but probably what instead of it being an easy brand, it probably should be a different brand, a fighter brand. But the easy one is probably not.
Possibly, but then you throw into the mix high street estate agents. Now, why is a high street agent going to all of a sudden be happy to sell a fee of £600 or £700 when they've got this fee sitting there in their core brand of 1.2% or whatever it might be, which might be £2 or £3 grand?
Thank you very much.